It's good, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking all about J.K. Dobbins and whether or not the Texans should sign him. So like always, like and subscribe for more daily Texans content. So let's just get straight into this video. Should the Texans sign J.K. Dobbins? Pretty good numbers last year, kind of his breakout year, really just a bounce back year is the better term. He was in conversation to be comeback player of the year, ultimately wasn't, but could he be the running back too for the Houston Texans? 2021 he tears his ACL, 2023 he tears his Achilles tendon. So, he was a standout back at Ohio State. The Ravens drafted him in the second round, and ultimately injuries have kind of riddled through his career and really kind of made him face a lot of setbacks. This past year with the Chargers was obviously a bounce back year, like I was saying. 905 yards, 9 touchdowns, 195 carries, averaging 4.6 a carry. He was asked to be the Chargers' #1 running back in the room. There was really no one else except J.K. Dobbins in the room. Did have a couple of injuries. He was out for a few weeks this past season, but he's a power runner who lacks the elite speed and agility. That's what I think of when I think of J.K. Dobbins. I think of someone who wants to run through you, really good vision, not the best lateral agility to hit the holes that he sees, but he's a power runner. He's going to hit you hard. And he might not be able to rush for those 90-yard touchdowns, but he'll get you 10 or 12 yards in a hurry for sure. Really good acceleration with J.K. Dobbins. And so what's interesting about J.K. Dobbins is the Houston Texans have already had a negotiation in place with Dobbins. Now, the reporting is they are distant really on the salary amount. In my eyes, this probably comes from J.K. Dobbins wanting more guarantees from this past season. He didn't break 1,000 rushing yards, but as their #1 running back, he was pretty effective. So the way he's set up right now is he's going to make $3.4 million if he stays with the Chargers. The Chargers will have his rights to him if he's not signed by training camp. So I'm wondering kind of how much he's wanting. I'm thinking like if you're the Texans and you offer him $4 million and he declines that, he might see that as a low ball offer. I don't know how much higher you'd want to go with Dobbins. Now, I do think Dobbins could be an excellent #2 behind Joe Mixon. And I've been advocating for so long that the Texans need someone behind Joe Mixon to help Joe Mixon with those carries. That being said, J.K. Dobbins is really injury prone. We've just seen that forever. And so if you're paying someone, $5, $6, $7 million for them to, you don't want to speak this into existence, but if he were to tear something again or pull a hamstring and be out, yeah, obviously it's not that worth it for the Houston Texans when you have a player who already has so much history with injury. So I do wonder, though, if you couldn't just slide him $5 million and make it work. And ultimately, that's kind of where my mind wanders with J.K. Dobbins. In my opinion, if we were to grade the signing, I think the Houston Texans should do it. I think they should 100% do it because then you'd have Joe Mixon at the top, J.K. Dobbins, and you'd have Woody Marks as your 3. And then you could still have Dameon Pierce who you could throw in there as well. So if the Texans don't end up signing J.K. Dobbins, it'll be a salary thing. It'll be probably an injury thing. They probably don't view his season as high as he does. Another thing noting that the Chargers got rid of this man. I mean, they got Najee Harris and they just signed Amarian Hampton in the first round. So there are 2 running backs that are clearly ahead of J.K., at least in the Chargers' mind, because they haven't re-signed him and they might not. So that is another thing the Houston Texans might be worried about. Hey, if you had this great breakout season, why is your team not wanting you back? That being said, he did have a great season, again, almost 1,000 yards. So overall, I think I'd like the signing if you could get him on like a $5 million contract. Like I think that would be a good move. Not only would you be running the risk, I guess, with J.K. Dobbins getting injured, but you'd also be lessening the risk with Joe Mixon getting injured, because I really do think that J.K. Dobbins is someone who you can hand the football to like maybe not half the time, but a good amount of the time to take some snaps off of Joe Mixon and to take some load off Joe Mixon. Because if Joe Mixon gets injured or hurt, you really have no one behind him. They don't trust Pierce, and I don't think Woody Marks can be that do-it-all back. J.K. Dobbins can definitely be a strong second punch behind Joe Mixon. And so again, I think for $5 million, like that's probably what I'd give him. If he wants more than that, if he wants like 7, if he wants whatever Najee got, I think it's unrealistic with his injury history, and that might be what he wants. But that's kind of my opinion on it. But let me know what you guys think. Would you sign J.K. Dobbins? Let me know in the comments, and I will see y'all in the next one, man. Peace out.